not believe what Jordan Clarkson did to this referee during a fight. Hey guys, thanks for watching another one of our videos. Today we're talking about Jordan Clarkson. Now, he may be a familiar name among a few fan bases. He recently won the 6th Man of the Year award with the Utah Jazz. And as fantastic of a scorer and role player as he is right now, that hasn't stopped Clarkson from butting heads with quite a few NBA players and even a referee. We've looked throughout his entire career in order to find the best fights involving Jordan Clarkson, ranging from him throwing a basketball to shoving a player to the ground, even hitting a referee. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. We'll start off with Jordan Clarkson as a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, the team was struggling, down 10 points against the Philadelphia 76ers with just 10 seconds remaining and the game all sealed up. That's when something unusual happened. It's an unwritten rule in basketball where if your team is up by a large amount, you just dribble the ball until the game is over, right? Well, Dario Saric chose to take a different approach here. He took his opportunity and sprinted past a Cavaliers defense that was just trying to end the game, and he dunked it home for 2 points. Clarkson grabbed the ball as it was falling to the ground and threw it at the back of Saric. He was almost immediately met by Joel Embiid and the now turned around Saric as they each got in his face about the incident. The funny thing about this fight, though, is that they calmed down relatively quickly. Embiid was able to get in between the two and separate them, and the referees got each of them onto their own bench in a matter of seconds. JJ Redick knocked down the technical free throw, and Clarkson was eventually ejected as punishment, though there were only 10 seconds left, so he didn't end up missing a lot of time. Just like how he didn't end up missing much time when he shoved a referee right in the middle of the game. We'll be getting to that story at the end of the video, though, so be sure to stick around to hear it. In the meantime, we're sticking with his Cavaliers days. Clarkson and the Cavs found themselves down 1 point against the Brooklyn Nets, a team far different than the one nowadays with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. It was early in the second quarter, and Clarkson was able to get a steal for his team. He raced down the court and attempted to put up a layup during the fast break, but was met in the air by Quincy Acy. Now, Acy is a much bigger dude than Clarkson, so when they hit each other in the air, it was Clarkson who almost fell to the ground. Although it didn't seem like Clarkson was aware that it was all just an accident. Instead, he stood up and went forehead to forehead with Acy after the play. Each player had some choice words for the other before they were separated by basically every other player on the court at the time. Had they not been broken up though, the altercation could have gotten physical to the point where punches might have been thrown. Clarkson wasn't punished for the fight, but the refs did review the play that initially got him angry. After some talks, they chose to hand Acy a flagrant 1 for the way he went up to block the layup. Acy clearly wasn't happy about that call and could be seen explaining how he just wanted to block the basketball and not intentionally hurt him, though the damage was already done on both sides. Just like how this one NBA player was ejected after what he did to Clarkson during a fast break. Make sure you stay a little while longer to hear that insane story. For now, we'll be rewinding back to when Jordan Clarkson first started his NBA career. He was with the Los Angeles Lakers, and the team was up by 8 points against the Miami Heat halfway through the third quarter of action. Goran Dragic attempted to run around a screen without the ball and get himself freed up for a wide-open layup. In the process, he bumped into his defender, Clarkson, pretty hard. Clarkson felt that it was slightly intentional, so he extended both arms out and shoved Dragic out of bounds while staring him down. Dragic flew back up and threw his shoulder into Clarkson, knocking him backwards as well. And at this point, it all went downhill. Clarkson extended his arms for another shove and caught Dragic in the neck. Goran fell down to the ground quite quickly, and when he got up, he aggressively rushed at Jordan. Though luckily the referee and a few other players caught him before he could make any contact. Clarkson was held on his own bench by a coach, a player, and a referee, while Dragic was held by almost his entire team, including his head coach, Erik Spoelstra. While the cameras were focused on what was happening with Dragic and Clarkson, James Johnson of the Miami Heat was suddenly in a heated confrontation with a Lakers player and had to get restrained himself. Every official got together to review the footage and assess the damage done on the court, and after a few minutes of deliberation, they decided to eject both Dragic and Clarkson for their actions. Luckily though, Clarkson wasn't ejected for this next action. However, he was definitely fined a large chunk of cash for the entire fight. And he wasn't very happy about that after the game. Reporters kept asking him questions about the fight, but he was clearly uninterested and annoyed at the questions being thrown his direction. It wasn't a good day for Jordan Clarkson, though things eventually got better for him, just like right now. We're finally into the present day with Jordan Clarkson playing for the Utah Jazz. The team was playing the Phoenix Suns, and they were in the second quarter of a 23-22 ball game. Clarkson was able to drive into the lane and put up a layup to give Utah a 1-point lead. However, Phoenix tried to inbound the ball quickly, and because Clarkson was already in the area, he decided to stay and jump the pass. He was actually successful, and it resulted in a steal and a 2-on-1 for him right by the rim. As Jordan tried to collect himself and run around one player, the referee had run onto the court to go the other direction and wasn't able to get back up fast enough to get out of bounds. Clarkson ended up running straight into him and lost the handle on the basketball, causing it to go straight out of bounds. He was so upset that he lost a great opportunity for 2 points that he immediately shoved the referee out of anger after he ran into him. Of course, the referee instantly handed him a technical foul, and in most cases, he probably would have ejected him. The only reason he wasn't booted from this particular game was most likely because the official knew he'd screwed up by not being able to get off the court in time. Next, we have some intense trash talk shared between Clarkson and a good friend of his. See, when Clarkson was traded away to the Utah Jazz in the middle of his season with the Cavaliers, a lot of teammates were upset, most notably Kevin Love, who spoke out about his disappointment over not being told about the impending trade. It was clear that all of his teammates loved playing beside him and were upset that he was leaving their team, though it made for a fun trash-talking night when the Cavaliers faced off against the Jazz for the first time with Clarkson. Larry Nance Jr. was the first to take his shot before the game, saying, quote, "I hope he guards me so I can put him in the rim one time, give him a little too small, a little baby. I know he'll do the same thing if he gives me an ISO. I'm just looking forward to the competition." Throughout that entire game, the two shared playful trash talk to one another and always seemed to have fun when they guarded each other on the floor. It was all in good fun though, as Nance mentioned how great of a teammate Clarkson is on and off the floor, and how their time together on both the Los Angeles Lakers and the Cavaliers created a strong bond between them. While this could be considered a fight, it was more of a playful one and didn't involve any actual physical confrontation. Although this next play was pretty bad and ended up getting somebody ejected. Now we get to one of the hardest hits that Jordan Clarkson has taken throughout his young NBA career. He was still with the Cavaliers at this time, and they were in the middle of a game against the Toronto Raptors. They were in the playoffs at the time and actually held a 3-0 series lead while leading Game 4 by a score of 97-72. With 30 seconds left in the third quarter, Fred VanVleet attempted to pump fake Clarkson into jumping, but when he attempted to drive into the lane, Clarkson poked the ball loose. The ball bounced into the middle of the floor and Clarkson sprinted down court to pick up an easy dunk for his team. Though it didn't end up being that easy after all. He was met mid-air by DeMar DeRozan, who was just trying to give his team a spark by attempting to get a huge chase-down block. Instead, he had one arm hit Clarkson in the face while his other arm pushed him to the ground and out of bounds. Players immediately ran over to make sure their teammate was okay, though he looked dazed and in pain on the ground. When he finally got up, he and another Cavs player were scanning the ground for something. It was later announced that he'd lost an eye contact during the hit and couldn't find it. Eventually, he was able to find it, but while the search was on for the missing contact, referees were reviewing the footage for a potential foul. They came to the conclusion that DeMar would be given a flagrant foul, and it would subsequently get him ejected from the ball game, ending his season. Addicted to watching NBA fights? Well, you're in luck. Click on the video that appears on your screen to keep watching more fights involving your favorite NBA players, and let us know in the comments below who we should make a video about next.